Welcome. This is our second episode of Something for You to Consider. Um, Last episode, we talked about why not utopia with Socrates. And Socrates said, hey, why not? Go for it. Come up with a better way to do things for everybody, a better life for everyone. It's a laudable goal. Why don't you do it? So we talked about it for a while, and we came up with the next question, which is what is stopping us? And we thought the best place to discuss this was with this gentleman, Leonardo da Vinci.
Hello, Barry. We all saw the Socrates episode, and now everyone here wants to be a guest on your show. We all discussed the what is stopping us question, and they felt I should present our findings. Throughout our collective 2,500 years of history, we found three primary things stopping us from realizing our dreams: understanding, authority, and funding.
Understanding, authority, and funding. Very good. Let's talk about understanding. We'll give you a definition of understanding. Thank you, Socrates, for telling us to define our terms. Um, the knowledge we have about how something works. Okay, now the knowledge we have is limited to whatever we have been taught or picked up along the way through our experiences. So, how can we be sure we truly understand?
Understanding has its origin in our perceptions. Examine nature, the source of all true knowledge. Nature has her own logic, her own laws. She has no effect without cause, nor invention without necessity.
So, understanding comes from our individual perceptions and experience, and that's what I was alluding to. And if we haven't experienced something, or we haven't been taught something, or we've never come across anything in our reading and our studies, whatever, um, we fail to understand. If we want to understand, we can go research that some more. I guess, yeah, and that's what you're saying. The other thing you're saying is as long as we understand and we work within nature's laws, our understanding will not stop us. That is interesting, but our environment has become much more complex and much more dominated by a thing we call human nature. So, how are we going to include human nature in our analysis of how things work?
Be very careful. The blinding ignorance of humanity can mislead you. We wretched mortals must open our eyes.
Good advice, especially now with the internet. Everybody's out there. There's blinding ignorance everywhere. It's very difficult to tell what is true on the internet, and it can mislead us. So, um, our personal experience has definitely got to play a larger role if we have experienced whatever situation we're trying to resolve. Got it. Okay. Excellent. All right, but we should still study the ways of human nature, should we not?
Yes, study everything that can impact your designs. Just remember, study without a desire. Spoils the memory and it will retain nothing that it takes in.
Study without desire retains nothing. I, I like that. That's very good. I would tend to agree with that. If you're really passionate about a subject, you will study the hell out of it and you'll retain it. But if you're being forced to study something, You might just memorize whatever it is you need to memorize for an upcoming test or an upcoming presentation and then just lose it after that. Very good. I like that. So let's move on to authority, your second uh, stopper, if you will. Um, Authority is basically defined as the power to command you, to make decisions for you, and force you to obey. Um, so how do we cope with this?
Government, educator, and religious authorities tend to force a study of things you are not passionate about, things societies feel you need to learn. Other authorities require you to learn how to do things the way they have always been done. If you find, from your own experience, that something is a fact and it contradicts what some authority has ordered you to do, then you must abandon that authority and base your reasoning on your own findings.
Got it. I have been in many situations where those exercising power over me contradicted my understanding and experience of how something would work. And I have, in many cases, abandoned that authority or ignored that authority and gone ahead um, and done what I thought needed to be done. But abandoning authority is not an easy thing to do. You can lose your funding. You can lose your job. You can lose the ear of the people in charge if you don't do it just right. So how do we deal with that?
Especially when the authority controls your funding. We cannot earn without patrons or customers. So, if you cannot do what you want, sometimes you have to want what you can do, or find another patron.
If you cannot do what you want, sometimes you have to want what you can do. I can relate to that statement. That's an excellent statement. Thank you for that. So, is that what you told Michelangelo? You got to want what you can do?
Or, it was very hard to tell Il Divino, the Divine One, anything. But this is a good story for you. The Pope says, I need someone to paint the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. But the Pope couldn't afford a real painter. He had Michelangelo, the greatest sculptor, under contract. So the Pope said, I will make him paint. Michelangelo wanted nothing to do with it, but the Pope was his patron and actually threatened to kill him if he did not get to work. But we artists believe that if the spirit does not work with the hand, there is no art. This is a lesson for your AI advocates, I think. Anyway, Michelangelo just ran away and hid in the mountains.
Okay, so let's take a brief time out here on Michelangelo's story and take a look at Leonardo's lesson for AI advocates. I really like that. If the spirit does not work with the hand, there is no art. Oh, I love that. I absolutely love that. So, what was stopping Michelangelo?
In a serendipitous moment, Napoleon was walking by our preparations for this session, stopped and simply stated, there are two ways to motivate: fear and inspiration. An inspired soldier will not run away. Michelangelo found inspiration while working in the mountain quarry. He then became obsessed with painting his vision on the ceiling 70 feet above the ground. It was not at all what the Pope wanted, but the Pope loved it.
So, inspiration, not fear, motivated Michelangelo to understand, to resist contradictory authority, and secures essential funding for his vision, his approach to solving the problem of painting the ceiling. Excellent, excellent. Good, good. However, not all of us have access to divine inspiration. For us mere mortals, fear of retribution, fear of failure, a lack of inspirational leadership seem to be stopping us from even dreaming of a better way. Perhaps you could inspire us a bit before the portal closes?
Life is pretty simple. You do some stuff, most fails, some works, you do more of what works. If it works big, others quickly copy it. Then you do something else. The trick is the doing of something else.
Oh, wow. That is well worth repeating. Life is pretty simple. You do some stuff, most fails. Some works. You do more of what works. If it works big, others will quickly copy it. Then you do something else. The trick is the doing of something else. Thank you, Leonardo da Vinci. You have definitely given us all something to consider.